Okay, we're going to use a little Google script today. The setup is that I have some rosters. That's what you see in front of you here. These are rosters for specific dates, the type of training it is. These rosters pull their data from via query from a massive Google Sheet where all the forms feed into, and so these are queried from that massive sheet. That particular aspect is what keeps us from being able to trigger an email to me when a class gets full to do another operation, because a query doesn't trigger an event in Google Sheets. So what we have to do is put a timed trigger in the Google Sheet to actually run the script to check and see if the class is full. So this is the solution I've come up with. I'm sure somebody much smarter would come up with probably a 1 or 2 line code and solve everything, but this is where I'm at so far. So I'm going to do this last one here, opening it up. And so there's the roster. When it gets to 65, I need an email. Tell me to go in and shut it down. It has no script in it right now, so we go into Tools, Script Editor. Well, it has a couple of scripts, but nothing like what we're doing. I'm going to name this full, and the name of it is going to be the name of the actual class, to 00924QT. So now that is named, the script is named. So now this script is going to run and decide whether or not the class is full or not. But it's going to need to do, we're going to authorize it. It goes through an authorization process the first time that it's run. And so we're going to review permissions. We're going to tell it, yea, verily, go forth and violate whatever they're saying it shouldn't be done. Go to it and allow it. I'll get an email to notify them. But anyway, now I could run it. Nothing's going to happen because the class is not full. If it were full, I would get an email. Here's what's happening. So we're making a variable called spreadsheet app. There that is. I think these are pretty standard and getting going. A variable called spreadsheet, so I'm getting the active spreadsheet, which is SS, and then a variable called target sheet. I'm pulling the data from sheet 2, which is actually where the query happens. And there's more information that's coming in on sheet 2 than is needed on the roster. And so we're pulling this in. This will accept duplicates. It doesn't care. It just pulls in from the massive training sheet repository. But the script is going to look at these numbers right here specifically, and so I force it using get active spreadsheet, get sheet by name, and I'm just pulling from sheet 2, so that makes that active. I made a variable called seats left, which equals the target sheet, a get range, 2, that is row 2, column B, so it's cell B2, and get the value, put it into seats left. How many seats are left? So where is that coming from? That's coming from sheet 2, B2, seats left, which is just a calculation of that minus that. So A2 minus C2. Back to the script. We got the roster name, I've got the roster name loaded in each one of these. That's what this spreadsheet uses to pull in a query from the repository. And so it pulls that name into roster name, and then I define a body variable, which is what MECIC roster. That's the program name. Roster pulls in the roster name. Is full with so many seats. So if the seats is less than or equal to 0, it's going to mail me the roster name. Really handy, so I know what to fix, what to shut down is full in the body. Simple enough. Really cool. It does work really well. Now, since we've got this in here and it operated, and the reason I know it operated because it did nothing, because the class is not full. At this point, we have to trigger it because there's no way to trigger that I know of a sheet that has nobody opened it, nobody did anything with it. It's just got a query in it pulling in data. So we have to trigger it by time, and so we'll do an edit and then current project triggers. I'm going to add trigger. It's defaulting to the project's name. Instead of from spreadsheet, it needs to be time driven. And I want it to go out there and look every hour. I'd like for it to do more. I just don't want to abuse the system, obviously, and notify me immediately when it hits. So it's going to look at this every hour. I wish there was a more effective, more efficient use of that, but there's not that I see. So we go back, we want to look at all of our triggers, and we're going to kind of confirm that it's there. So we'll edit, we're going to look at all my triggers. There it is. So it is there, and it is operating. And notice these others have already run, and we've got a blank here that it is not run. So when it comes time to kill these things, let's say I start getting messages on 9:10. It's full. I would come out to this page. I would open up the script. I would go to Edit and all your triggers, and I would choose 9:10. I would go here and say delete, and that's how I would stop that thing from running in the background. If I don't, I guess they'd run forever and ever. So thanks for watching.